Good morning, Rabbi Isai. I have to say, it's unbelievable. It's one of the most, I don't want to say emotional, but that so many people came out 15, 20 minutes after the fast is over. I don't know who ate what, and if you got a coffee and you didn't. Kol hakavod, ishkoyach. The plan is, as soon as the shir is over, my whole family is waiting already inside the van. I just get in. Shower is a different week. I hope somebody packed my stuff. Yehud the Shub, we have to move on here. It's going to be a quicker shir, hopefully. Nah. Picture of Chaim Wertzman, Q82, learning the daf in Camp Morris Shul. Camp Morris brings back memories. Michael Leeser, I'm just reading this and that's it. I'm writing this for Rebelli. It's long, it doesn't have that. If Rebelli reads it himself, Dayenu. My name is Mati Leeser, otherwise known as on Hatzalah, F53, L53, SW53. I'm Levi Friedman's uncle. He's a big fan. I've been doing the daf for many years, Baruch Hashem. Even before Arch Gurmo was published, I've tried various shiurim and currently use my iPad for the daf. Recently, I had major surgery, so I'm stuck at home working remotely. But so far, no Hatzalah calls. Having extra time, I tried out Rebelli's daf for some of Yevamis, but didn't go through it all. I started Kesubos, got hooked. It's the most enjoyable, meaningful daf I've done. I hope in Hashem to continue it even after recovery. It's made a big impact on my life, even at this age. You should be able to continue the daf for many, many years, even when Tisha B'Av is Yantav B'Meher Yameinu. I have two quick issues. One is the Stefansky tuna guys, as you refer to them. They may be tuna guys, but they're totally Torah guys as well. One of them is my son-in-law, an incredible Tzaddikim family, Baruch Hashem. Nobody said they're not Tzaddikim people. Jonathan Stefansky says you have to pick a side. Nobody ever called them just tuna. The point is that Jonathan and I, and many thousands of Stefanskys, what happens is, as you go on the street, oh, what's your name, Stefansky? Oh, are you related to the Dagim tuna? Now, they're not saying the Torah Dik Dagim tuna. They just say Dagim tuna. So the point is, get rid of that from now on. Now, other people hate me. Are you related to the Daf Yomi guy? Okay, fine. Second, I disagree about Hatzalah versus the daf. Unless I misunderstood you, yes, you misunderstood me. It seems to me that you thought staying in the shir is more important than running out on a call. You can continue the shir later, but you can't save a patient cardiac arrest, chas v'shalom, later. In fact, you have less than 4 minutes. Of course, I never said that. I said, if there are other people going on the call, then you shouldn't go. You should learn Torah. If nobody's going on the call, then you go. That's what I said. Of course, pikuach nefesh comes before Torah. If you're middle of learning Torah, you drop and you do pikuach nefesh. But if there's 23 other people going out on a call, there's no point to you dropping the Torah. Have an easy, meaningful fast. Let's see Mashiach come right now. Mati Lizer. Okay. Sponsors. The Koilo is sponsored. The zchus, all the new people that join. The second sponsor of this month's Koilo are Avi and Rachel Kamiansky, Dr. Epstein's son-in-law and daughter. In memory of Rachel's mother, Reza Gittel Bas Esther, Rita should be a Melis Yoshner on behalf of us and our children. And the Paras HaChodesh is Dr. Avrum Epstein in memory of my precious southern belle, wife, mother, and grandmother, Rita Gay Epstein. The Masechta is sponsored by Leilu Nishma Shalom ben Elazar Moshe and Aaron Moshe ben Baruch Yosef and hatzlacha b'chol ha'inyanim for my children. The second Masechta is Jeff Rosner and zchus my son, Yosef Simcha Chaim ben Sara Chana Refuah Shlaima. And Paras HaChodesh number 1 by the Lock and Lebovic families, Lakewood NJ, because Torah is the best segula. Paras HaChodesh number 2, Shragi Chafetz RL149 is zchus for my family, myself, to be Tzaddikim, and for the Tzaddikim of RL Hatzalah. Paras HaChodesh number 3, Moshe Zechariah, Lil Nishmas Moshe ben Zechariah. And Paras HaChodesh number 4, Benjy Estie Israel and family in memory of our Zayde Moshe Menora and 3 cousins, Sara Klein, Ricki Racheli Menora on the 12th yard side. Their neshamas should all have an aliyah. And we said Dr. Epstein is sponsored together with Avi. We mentioned right before he walked in. Shalom Aleichem. Agut. What do you say now? Zimmer? Agut ben azmanim, a healthy ben azmanim, a safe ben azmanim. Rabbi side today's Daf Lamed Beis. We are holding 4 lines from the bottom of Daf Amud Aleph. I just want to mention real quickly that one of the biggest Bali Tzedakah of our generation, Rabbi Yankiv Reichenbach, was nifter. He battled the machla. He was a man that I knew very well. He had a tremendous smile on his face. Always smiled. Always gave tzedakah to everywhere. His son, is Chaim Reichenbach is my brother-in-law's partner. His other son, Rabbi Yosef Reichenbach, is the big Rosh Kollel in Chicago. And I want to tell you a personal thing that he told me one-on-one once. An unbelievable insight that he told me. I was walking with him in Yerushalayim once. He showed me his Beit Tovei, what's the name of the place that he owns? And he told me, Eli, I want to tell you something. When I was in Kollel, I looked at my partner. I'm pretty sure I know he told me the name of his partner, but I don't want to mix it up, so I'm not going to say the name of his partner. I think it was his brother. But anyway, he says, I told my whatever that if we are able to make $500 a month as we're in Kollel, we would stay in Kollel for the rest of our lives. That's what he told me. And then obviously that didn't work out, and he went to work, and he was making like $500 a minute. But the musagim of people, if I would make $500 a month, I would stay in Kollel for the rest of my life. He was telling me, look how it is. Obviously that's not going to work, $500. Okay. Zok the Gemara, because the Shama should have an aliyah, should be a male for all of Klal Yisrael in Chicago and his home mishpacha. So we learned in the Mishnah 4 lines down from Daf Amud Aleph Amud Beis. I'm in a little bit of a rush because I have to catch a flight. We learned in the Mishnah that I see the bottom over there. Okay, what are you going to do? It's interesting.
I'll fix it.
If a person had relations with, here we see over in the pasuk. Let's just do a little chazara because we might be lost. There's a concept of knas. If a person is ma'anis a woman, mefat is another parsha. He's ma'anis a woman. He has to pay the father 50 kesef, and he can never divorce her. Says the Mishnah, the first Mishnah in Eilan Aris, it includes also his own sister. Now, ask the Gemara, we have a contradiction. It says in Masechtas Makis, Elon Aloikin, it doesn't say anything about a knas. You don't pay 50. It says you get malchus. Habala choisa. It's in the same exact order as our Mishnah. Habala choisa and his own sister. Vala choisa aviv and his father's sister's aunt from his father. Vala choisi moi and his mother's sister. In other words, his aunt through his mother. Vala chois ishtoi and his sister-in-law. Vala ishisachiv. And his sister from, in other words, his own wife's sister, Valeshes Achiv, his brother's wife, that was Masech Zivames, Valeshes Achi Aviv, and his father has a brother, an uncle, but his uncle's wife, his aunt, but it's through his uncle, not his aunt. She's only related through the father's brother. Valanida. These people get malchus, top of Lamed Beis Amud Aleph, Leiv. The Chaim alone, Deina Loiko Mishalem. We have a problem. It says in this pasuk, Vayam bin Nakois Arosha, Vipila Shofet Vikol the fun of Kedei Rish Asai. Rish Asai is plural or singular, Rabbi Isai? Singular. Rish Asai. Rishuyos, or whatever the lashon would be for double. What? Rishosam, no, his own Rishos. Rishosav, very good. Rishosav. Rishosai is singular. In other words, he gets punished one punishment only. So now that he has 2 punishments, he has malchus, because the Mishnah in Malchus tells us that he gets malchus. The Mishnah by us tells us that he gets a knas of 50. Which one should it be? So right now we're going to see machlokes, but he cannot get malchus and pay. So we have one teretz, we have a few, but here's the first one. We have 2 mishnayos. Our Mishnah is talking about there's a knas. Why? Because she's a nara. So if we look at this graph again, there's a ketana up until the age of 12, from 12 to 12 and a half, if provided she has simanim, that's a nara. Everything past 12 and a half is considered a begeris. There is no knas. So if there's no knas, what is there? Yes, malchus. But if there is a knas, naira gets a knas. In our Mishnah, in our Masechta, there's a knas. So there's no malchus. If you're going to have to choose one or the other, she's supposed to get both. A knas and malchus. The guy who's ma'anis his own sister has to pay knas and get malchus. Which one should he get? Our Mishnah tells us he pays. And he doesn't get malchus. But the Mishnah in Malkus that says that you get Malkus and you don't pay is talking about that she's already a Begeris. A Begeris doesn't get a Knas, so when Mela he's left with the Malkus. Ask the Gemara, now take a look at this chart. Very, very simple. If you're in yeshiva, you know this. There's 5 payments that you have to pay if you damage somebody. Nezek, Tsar, Ripuy, Sheves Boishes. Nezek, Tsar, Ripuy, Sheves Boishes. Ask the Gemara, the Begeres, you're right, you don't have to pay the fine, but there's still Boishes Ubgam. She has embarrassment. Embarrassment, it depends on the chashivas of her family. The daughter of a rebbe, of a Rosh Hashiva, gets more money than a common folk person, etc., etc. There's devaluation, depreciation. How much is she worth? And Rashi goes into the whole thing. When we talk about a slave, if a master wants to get his slave that he really likes a lot, a perfect woman, so the woman who has psulim is worth more money on the marketplace. How much is it literally, how much is the loss of psulim worth? Okay. So if you have to pay number 4, number 5 on the list, or number 1 and number 5 on the list, so then you shouldn't get Malkus. You can't get both. You don't have to pay and get Malkus. Says the Gemara B'Shaita. So one pshat is, in addition to the fact that she's a Begeres, she's also a Shaita. And a Shaita doesn't have embarrassment, so you can't be Mvaisha. There's nothing worse than being a Shaita. It's the biggest embarrassment in the world. So there's no Busha. And there's also no Bgam. She doesn't have any value on the slave market. So in Mela, 1 and 5 doesn't apply to her, and therefore the man is left with Malkus. Oh, sorry. Come on. I'm trying to skip a little bit. Why do you guys have to do this to me? I have a flight to catch. What about number 2 on the list? Tsar. Says the Gemara b'mefuta. Mefuta says Rashi, the Chachamais, the women that know, they understand that a woman who's agreeable, there's no tsar. There's no physical tsar. Says the Gemara, okay, hashtadas is lachi. Now that you're telling me these answers, so you don't have to say one is a naira, one is a begeres. Over there, makis could also be a naira. We're talking about that she's a yisayma. So therefore, her father doesn't get the knas. Who gets the knas? She herself. But she was moichel everything. So in a case where she's moichel the entire list, she's a mafuta. Meaning, okay, a boyfriend-girlfriend kind of situation. So she's masking to everything. So she can't come to, you owe me shebes, you owe me boishes, you owe me tsar. She's masking to everything. So now you're left with one option only, and that is Malkus. And that's why the Mishnah in Malkus says he gets Malkus. But in our case, where this guy could get both Einshim, he could get Malkus on the one hand, gets payment on the other hand. What do we say? He has to pay. He has to pay and not get Malkus. Why? So that's a shaila. What do human beings prefer? I would ask you. Everybody could think about it for themselves. You had an option to get banged up real good. Get on a table and the diet whips you with a whip 39 times, or pay $20,000. Which one would you prefer? Question. Huh? So I thought it depends on how much money you have. So I went around the base measures and I started asking people, one after another. People that were very poor, they were saying no, they'd rather pay, they'd rather get into chayvus. People that are very wealthy, they said no, they'd rather get the malchus, not pay. It didn't matter. Some said this way, some said that way. I couldn't come up with a color. I personally would pay. Okay, I don't want. We're talking about 39 malchus that people die from. You could die, and they have a doctor there, and sometimes you have to stop in the middle and send the guy home, and have him come back 3 weeks later and keep on going. It's not like that. It leaves real marks on your body for the rest of your life. What? Everybody? So you're on my team, but a lot of people said nobody with that. Little us, $20,000. Oh, that's also a big deal. Yeah. No, we discussed it. Depends. Sometimes, okay. There's actually a Taisus coming up. We'll see Taisus that sort of mentions maybe by you. There was a guy goes to a dentist. No time for jokes, but guy goes to the dentist. He asks the dentist, I need my tooth pulled. What can you do? So the guy says, okay, it's $600. $600? Why? He says, oh, I have to put you under and this, that. He says, okay, could you do a little cheaper? He says, for $400 without anesthesia. He says, okay, good. Now we're getting there. What else? He says, for $200, I'll have my secretary do it. Oh, great. So the dentist says at the end, he says, but it's very, very painful. You sugar, why are you doing this? He says, it's not for me, it's for my wife. So no, sometimes people are masking to have some pain, especially if it's not for themselves. Fine. Says the Gemara. No more jokes. Okay. Manale, so at the bottom line is, when you have a situation that the guy could pay a fine or get malchus, we're deciding that he pays. And we're understanding at this point, and we could go back and forth and we could decide different ways. We're understanding that paying money is more painful for a human being than to get malchus. Let's say that's the vart. Let's say. Says the Gemara, where does he know this from? Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you should get knas, not pay. Says the Gemara, he learns it from a guy that hits his friend. So here, what happened? Arbaim. It's 11:01 only, not 9:01. Okay, fine. Arbaim yaken li Yosef pen Yosef. And then it says in the psukim. So first of all, he gets malchus. Lo Yosef pen Yosef, and remember this, Rabbi side, please remember this. There's an Isser Doiraisa to hit another Jew. It doesn't matter if he's not in the same yeshiva as you, and he's not the same yeshiva, the same Rebbe as you. It doesn't matter what the situation. To hit another Jew is an Isser Doiraisa, Lo Yosef pen Yosef. And that's it. Whatever, all you didn't have the same law. Then it says in the pasuk, we have a situation where somebody hit somebody else. And in Pasuk Yutes it says, Rat Shifta Yitain V'Rapa Yerapa. He has to pay the money for him to be healthy. Okay? Fine. So you see that you have a situation where the guy should be getting malchus. He gets malchus, and on the other hand, he pays his way out of it. He doesn't get malchus. So there's a choice. Chiyuv for both. Nevertheless, he pays money and he doesn't get the malchus. So too the rest of the Torah. Anytime you have that choice, you pay and you don't get malchus. Says the Gemara. So going back to the list, the chayvel b'chaveroi, he's very chamor. On the one hand, he has a chumrah. He has to pay a lot of stuff. He has to pay the whole list. Now, there's a little tricky, Rabbi Yisai. On the flip side, you might tell me, now, you might say that no, it's much worse to get malchus than to pay. So the reason why he's paying, this guy, this concept of hitting somebody is, we see already that it's a little bit of a kula. It's a lighter kind of avera. Why? Because you see that Bezdin sometimes beats people up. Where do they beat people up? Malchus. So who the Miklalai? You know what was bothering me when I read this? I was going crazy for hours. So that means that killing somebody is a lighter thing because Bezdin kills people? Bezdin kills people also. I asked my chavrusa, nothing doing. The Lamaisa searched, found the, who says Adar Sameach? The Sameach asked the Kasha, and he says, no, Bezdin only kills people after they have a Gemar Din and a Psak Halacha that they deserve to die, so it's Gavrik Tilo Katal. They're already dead. That's his Mechadish. So they never kill somebody, so you don't have that cool in it. Okay, if somebody has a different teres, let me know. Says the Gemara, Elagomar made him zoymim. Okay. If you're going to tell me that it's a very, very severe thing, why? So because they have a lot, they pay a lot, and that's why they pay money and don't get malchus. Well, on the flip side, you could also say that it's a very cool thing because even Bezdin beats people up. Now we're going to have the same exact thing on the next piece. The famous case of Eidim Zoymim, two Eidim come and say that so-and-so owes money. Then come another two Eidim and say, it's impossible. Imanu Isem, you're with us in Africa on a safari. It's impossible that you saw that. So whatever the first two Eidim wanted to be Mechayiv, they wanted to be Mechayiv $100. Now those two Eidim have to pay $100. The Eidim Zoymim also have giving away. They also have a Isser of lying and being Meshaker. It's in the Aser Sadibers, no? What's the thing? What is it? No. No. Thank you. So they pay money and they don't get malchus. So when there's an option of giving somebody a penalty or giving a malchus, so you'll say there's something light about Eidim Zoymim. You have to warn people, not by Eidim Zoymim. So no, fakir, it's a chumrah. We're machmer on them. They are so severe that they don't even need the hasra and they still have to pay. Maybe you'll say no, fakir, that paying instead of getting malchus is the easy way out. Like a lot of people, like Yosef said, no, everybody would want to pay. So I'll tell you why. The reason is their whole aveira was done with their mouth. They didn't do a maisa. Perhaps when you beat somebody up, or let's say by us in our case, achoisa, he's ma'ana somebody, there's a maisa, maybe you get malchus and not pay. Ella says the Gemara Tarvayu. Here. So I did a little chart in case you don't know what a tzaddik is, it makes it easier. You have two things, choivel and zoymimim. We already said that choivel has one thing that's very, very strong about it. You have to pay 5 things. There's also something very easy about it in green, that hutu b'chlali bebezdin, the bezdin gets to beat people up. The same thing with zoymimim. Zoymimim also, they pay, don't do malchus, both of them on top. But there's a strong thing that you don't even have to do asra. You could kill Eidim Zoymim without asra. They have to pay money without asra. But on the other side, there's a green thing that says they never did a maisa. So if you take the two things together, choivel and zoymimim, and you come out with one idea, what do they have in common? What do they have in common? They both are chayiv 2 things, money and malchus, and we only give them where the arrow is, we only give them mammon. So too, everything else in the world that it has the option of money and malchus, you give money and not malchus. So the but you know what? Choivel and Zoymim have a red thing to they have something chamor, chamisha dvarim in asra. And if you're going to tell me no, to pay and not to give malchus is, you see what's going on here in the Gemara. The Gemara is not sure. What's worse, to pay or malchus? I'm telling you, go ask your friends. You'll see that some people are going to say, I'd rather get malchus, I'd rather get 39 malchus. Maybe they don't know what it is exactly. I'd rather get 39 malchus than to pay $40,000. Depends. So up the parallel, up it a little bit. $50,000, Yosef. Will you take 39 malchus for $50,000?
You could die from it. No one will take it.
You could die from a lot of things. No, you're not going to die. I guarantee you're not going to die. I have a good bezdin, they're not going to let you die. But it's going to hurt for 3 weeks. It's going to hurt for 3 weeks. Okay, fine. Okay, maybe you're going to tell me on the flip side that the reason why they're paying money is less than malchus. Okay, so I'll tell you why. Because there's 2 green things over there. Each one is a very easy thing in a way. Zoymim, they only spoke with their mouth. Choivel, hutu b'chlali bez. So Mela, I can't learn not from Choivel, not from Zoymim, out the window. Oh, Ela Ula, tachas gomer. He has Gzer Shava. One of the words is completely extra. It's called mufna. And therefore, it's one of the Gzer Shavas I can't be mafrich. Ksiv hacha, it says by oynes tachas asher ino. Uksiv also, it says by choivel ayin tachas ayin. The famous pasuk, you have to pay an eye for an eye. Ma hasam, everybody knows you don't pay an eye for an eye. There's no such thing as an eye for an eye. Mamayna Mishale, Milkale Lucky, you pay and you don't get Malchus. Avkolecha, Dikim Mamayna Malchus, Mamayna Mishale, Milkale Lucky. So I learned from the Gzeir Shava. We just turned to Lamed Beis, sponsored by Moshe Horn in honor of Zach the Rock Rocklin and Lenny Lerner, CPA. And Yankel Cohen, the official MDY MSP, and Hudi Newman in honor of Rebelli, the real. Okay.
What?
Yeah, whatever.
Dry mouth. Try it again.
Now, I just want to show you real quickly this Vilna Gaon, very, very famous Vilna Gaon. I like to say it all the time. Anytime we say Ein Tach Zayin, the Vilna Gaon says it's mucha from the pasuk that it's money. Why? Because it says the eye under an eye. What's under an ayin? A pay. Ayin is under a pay. A yud is under a chaf, and a nun is under a samach. So it's the ayin is under the kesef. Pei chaf samach spells kesef. The ayin is under. It's not a real ayin. It's underneath those letters. That's what the Vilna Gaon says. Okay, fine. Huh? Because the ayin is under the pei. It's under. The ayin is under. Ayin tachas. It's under. Okay, whatever. You can do it any way you want. Kashas later.
It's the kesef is tachas.
Chaf is at top.
No, it doesn't say that. It says in the pasuk, ayin tachas. Ayin. Okay, whatever. I don't know how to. Well, I think last time I did it that way. This time it's machlokes. Fine. Rabbi Yochanan and Omar. Now, we have a contradiction in the Mishnayos. In our Mishnah it says that if somebody is ma'anis his own sister and other relatives, he pays a kanas. In Malkus it says he gets Malkus. So what's the pshat? Rabbi Yochanan and Omar afilu teima achois naira, both talking about a naira. Kan she'isru boy, kan sheli hisru boy. If they gave him asura and they said if you were ma'anis his sister, you're going to get Malkus, so he gets Malkus. If there's no asura, then he's stuck with only paying a kanas. Alma kasav Rabbi Yochanan. So now Rabbi Yochanan is mechulak on Ula. The exact opposite of what Ula says. Look, the Mishnah in Malkus, they gave him asura. And he's chayiv money and Malkus. And what does he end up getting in Malkus? In Malkus, he gets Malkus. So you see that when you have the option, you get Malkus and not money. The opposite of what we said until now from Ula. And how does he know it? Oh, what did you guys say before? That was the word? But what does it say right next to it? When you have the option of paying money and getting Malkus, you should get Malkus. Ask the Gemara about Malkus, this case that we already had on Amud Aleph. Somebody beats up his friend. There's both. Money and Malkus, lucky over there. It's not like Rabbi Yochanan. You don't get Malkus, you pay. Maybe you'll see the nafkamin is because there's no asra. But if there was asra, then you do get Malkus. Rabbi Yochanan himself says, if, and this was fascinating to me. By the way, tomorrow's shir, Lamed Gimel, you'll see, is still in the Beis Medrash. It's magic. Whatever. I might have spoken about that on Daf Lamed Gimel. In the future, I might be speaking about it. That it really bothered me, this thing. If a guy, let's say, does something so insignificant, he flicks his friend like this, I don't know, nothing happened. And he's not chayiv even a pruta. How much is a pruta nowadays? I don't know, a shekel, 2 shekels, 25 cents. Something, nothing, insignificant. If you're not chayiv in 25 cents, so you get the 39 malchus. So the best thing is to go over to your friend and smack him across the face again, like be mitzaref, so it's even more. So now you don't have to get malchus, you can just pay him $3.50. That you're asking Yosef for $5, you for sure won't want to get malchus. That's no shaila. If you do something it's so insignificant, then you get malchus. It's crazy. Now the Gemara says, what's the case? If there's zero asra, why should there be any malchus? You never get punished unless you ate zayimim. There's only one exception, but usually you never get punished in the Torah unless there's asra. You have to be warned. So of course, he was warned. And the reason is because there's less than a pruta. But if there's a full pruta, then he pays and he doesn't get malchus. Right? The case of malchus is when there's less than a pruta. But if there is a full pruta, then he doesn't get malchus. He pays. Says the Gemara, I'll tell you why. It's a special chiddush by Edim Zayim. So too, there's a special chiddush. You're right. You should really get malchus, but there's a special wording in the Torah that tells you that if you have the option, in these cases special, you pay, you don't get malchus. Where does it say it by Zayim? Typical case of Edim Zayim. Two Edim come and say, we saw with our own eyes, we're in Yerushalayim, that guy borrowed $100 from that guy. So now 200 zuz. He owes 200 zuz. Turns out that these two Edim were liars. They were in a different country completely at the time. So what's the halacha? Like in Yerushalayim, they have to get malchus and pay. This is Reb Meir. First, they did this. Where was that? They lied. And then there's another problem. And then you have a problem. No, since they pay money, they don't get malchus. Where did they get it from? Okay, fine. You only get one punishment, you don't get two. But why did they pick the money over? Oh, I gotta say this Taisus, very, very important Taisus. I forgot to say that. I wonder what else I forgot to say here. But Taisus says a beautiful thing. He says it's very possible that money is less chomer than malchus. So if it's less, as Taisus, itgur. It's like choyten iskar. A guy's ma'ana is somebody and then he gets the lesser of the two. What? Says Tais is beautiful because we don't want the girl to lose out on her 50 shekel. When there's somebody else involved, then we'll give him, we'll be okay. That's something like what you were saying, Yoel. I don't know. I remember you said something to that effect. It depends who's getting it, not getting it. Okay, fine. I know what you're saying. You're saying on a different svara that also we're talking about it. Like, would you rather, if somebody did something bad to you, would you rather him get beat up, or I forget, whatever. You know the shayla. Kids are sometimes in the nekama. You want that guy to suffer. I don't care. Don't pay me. Don't anything. Just him. He should suffer tremendous.
$3, yeah.
Okay, fine. Where are we? Oh, it's going to take me now 3 minutes to find the spot. Oh yeah. Okay. That's where we're holding? Oh, how do we know which way to go? Maybe you should get malchus and not pay. Who says to pay and not malchus? This is where he said it. And because he said it over here, we're also going to learn it for our sugi of chayvel. Now what? They have to pay. Where? It already says in the pasuk, look at pasuk Yutes. And then it says in pasuk Chav Aleph, nefesh b'nefesh, ayin b'ayin, shem b'shem, yad b'yad, regel b'regel. Yad b'yad, lamali. If it's exactly what they intended to do, so you have to give me all the examples in the world, we understand already from one example. So no, the pshat in yad b'yad is davar hanita miyad liyad umayni umamoin. They should pay and not get malchus. So chayva b'chaver nami. So too, let's bring it to our sugya. Michlik siv. It says in the pasuk, kasher also ken yosaloi. Look at the pasuk. Pasuk you test. Vishki temun b'misa kasher also ken yosaloi. And then the following pasuk it says ken yinosim boy. So the shaila is, why does it say ken yinosim boy lomali? Davar sheish boy nesina umayniu mamoin. It's a special pasuk that tells us that if you have malchus and mamoin, you pay and you don't get malchus. Have a wonderful day, Rabbi Sai. Please stick with it, bear with it. There might be some problems with the internet. Who knows? Alavai, Davin. I'll see you, Be'ezer Hashem, in 10 days. Have a wonderful day.